Hey YouTube, this is Steve from Average Joe's Fantasy Football, and we're back with another great video that will help you out with your Dynasty League. I know it's been a while. Unfortunately, I was out with some voice issues, so I obviously couldn't talk and give you guys a great video, but I wanted to get this out there. I am ready to go. I've got lots of videos lined up for you guys. So we're going to talk about players, really 5 players that I'm looking to sell after what happened after the draft, right? So I'm going to go into some players that I feel have some good value that if you're trying to, I would say, rebuild, or maybe even a buy mode, you want to buy these guys. But these are players that I'm looking to get rid of based off of what happened in this recent draft. So the first player I want to talk about is going to be Aaron Rodgers. Nothing against Aaron Rodgers. He will be a top easily 8 to 5 possibly quarterback in fantasy. But he's on the wrong end of the career as far as age goes, right? So in a dynasty aspect, this is definitely going to be selling to somebody who is looking to win now. The other concern that I have is they really didn't give a top flight receiver to replace Davante Adams being traded to the Raiders. I understand, obviously, you got Christian Watson coming in. He looks great in OTA so far, but I don't think he's anywhere near the level of what Davante Adams was. I do think he's going to have great talent. I would definitely be drafting him. I actually have him probably in about 2 or 3 different leagues of mine right now. I'm still looking to get him if I can. But the fact that you only got Christian Watson, you didn't get any really high end. You didn't try to trade to get one of those top 3 wide receivers that we were hoping Green Bay would do. So the fact that you have Adams not being really fully replaced, you've got a Robert Tonyan who's been, okay. You got Lazard. Those are your options. That's really your option as far as wide receivers go. So I do worry about Aaron Rodgers a little bit. And the fact is, Jordan Love still hasn't been traded. They don't know what's going to happen with him. There's always still that guy on the back shoulder, looking to replace him in the future. But if I'm a team that is in rebuild mode, who has Aaron Rodgers, I would trade him to a team that is looking to win now, get some draft capital, maybe get a receiver or running back that you need for your team, and just keep moving forward. All right. Now, another guy I'm looking to trade is going to be DeAndre Hopkins, not because of his suspension. I understand he was suspended for the first 6 games, and he did not try to appeal it, which means obviously he's admitting to what happened, whatever he took in his body. But he's had some nagging injuries last year. That always is a concern at his age. The biggest thing is you get Hollywood Brown coming to Cardinals. That, I think, is going to be the biggest factor why I believe in that. The fact is, they are old college teammates. They're going to have some great rapport. You added Trey McBride, which we'll talk about that a little bit later. You had Trey McBride in the second round, another tight end weapon that I think is going to be great. You still have Rondale Moore. You still have AJ Green. So you do have some viable options for Kyler Moore. But the biggest thing that I have is really the age of DeAndre Hopkins. Not only do you have the suspension going against him this year, nagging injuries from last year, and the fact that he's going to be 29. Most receivers peak at 29 and then really drastically decline. So from the age of 26 to 28, 8% of receivers finish in the top 5 or at, you got 29, 11% of receivers, top 5, right? Of all receivers, 29-year-old, 11% of them are top 5. Then after that, it's 6%. So 30 to 31, it's a little bit of a struggle. Then you get to anything 32 and beyond. Only 2% of receivers in the top 5 obviously will finish there. So at this point, he still has a name. I've traded him in a few of my leagues. This is how I felt. I got a second round and a third round for a rebuild team in low second round and third round that I feel has better value right now than DeAndre Hopkins. And you probably might get a little bit more, maybe get, maybe a first, depending on where you are in that first. But again, everyone else in the leagues probably understand that Hopkins is at the end of his career, and on top of that, his suspension. So you're not going to have the same value that you had once, maybe a year ago. But I'm looking to trade him as fast as you can, and that's what I did in most of my leagues. Now, another guy I have it's tough to say, but I have Damien Harris as somebody I am trying to sell after this draft. Let's just start by saying the fact that this is the Patriots. Patriots are never going to fully commit to one running back. So not only do you have Damien Harris, who was very good last year, but a lot of it was the fact that he finished RB14 because he had 15 touchdowns. That's not going to be something he's going to repeat again. Then you have Ramondre Stevenson, who was just as efficient as Damien Harris last year. Then they added Pierce Strong. They added Harris. I mean, they've got probably 4 or 5 running backs in that backfield that I just don't feel comfortable drafting really any running backs from the Patriots, and I'm selling all of them. I luckily for me, I've never really drafted. I've never really was sold on any running backs in the Patriots backfield, even though I hyped up Damien Harris last year as far as redraft goes, and he turned out really well. So hopefully you guys did draft him. But as far as a dynasty aspect, I'm not drafting or keeping any running back from the Patriots until Bill Belichick decides to just use one running back, or maybe a running back that does 2 to 3 downs, maybe get a third down back like a James White like they used to. Okay, maybe. But I don't feel comfortable with any of these guys. I'm looking to trade Damien Harris. You might get something out of him. You might get a second rounder. Maybe a wide receiver 3 to kind of fill in one of those flex spots for you. But Damien Harris is definitely somebody I'm getting rid of. Ramondre Stevenson, I'm not so much. I think just because he doesn't have the same value, and I think you might get a little bit of some value keeping him. I like him a lot going forward. Another guy I'm looking to trade is going to be Patterson. Look, Patterson obviously is going to be one of those guys that he's on obviously the end of his career. He didn't get used a lot, so he doesn't have the same wear and tear like other players, which is great. But the reason why I have him kind of leaving is you got the Falcons drafted Tyler Algier, who's probably going to be eventually their, I would say, go-to running back. They have Damien Williams that they picked up as well. They did get rid of Mike Davis, which means Algier, Damien Williams, and Patterson are going to be really the 3 running backs. They already said that they would like to use Patterson more as a wide receiver this year instead of just a running back, which tells me that Algier is probably going to be the guy sharing the ball with Damien Williams. And the fact that Algier was obviously in the 5th round doesn't mean he's going to be the starting running back. But I think towards the end of this season, let's be honest, this team is not going to be a great team. So I think, week 10, week 11, you'll see Algier probably get more carries. So I like Algier a lot more. So Patterson's somebody, because I think he had such great value last year, and I think he still has a little bit of a name behind him, you might get something out of him. I was able to get rid of him a few times because I never really drafted him in the past anyways, especially in a dynasty aspect. Redraft, he was definitely valuable, and I think redraft is still pretty valuable this year as well, but I don't like him this upcoming few years. As far as dynasty, I'm trying to get rid of him as fast as I can. And the last guy I want to talk about who I'm looking to trade is going to be Zach Ertz. I loved what happened with Zach Ertz last year. I was able to pick him up in a couple of redrafts off, waivers. I also, even in fantasy, in Dynasty, I was able to get him a few times because I like his potential and the fact that he just went off when he went to Arizona. Kyler Murray loved him, and I still think he loves him. But the fact is, Arizona went after a tight end and Trey McBride in the 2nd round, which tells me they're already looking to move on from Zach Ertz in the future, even though they did obviously re-sign him. But here's why I think he's a good value to trade. Anybody who's in obviously a premium tight end dynasty or just needs a tight end in general, especially in a win now, Zach Ertz is still going to value this year. He's going to be the number 1 tight end. McBride will be the 2nd. I think with Ertz and Hopkins being out, Ertz is going to have that increased value obviously as well. So I think that's where you can probably get something for Ertz this year. Again, a 2nd rounder, maybe a 3rd rounder in 2023, because there's a lot of great future in 2023 as far as the draft comes. So I'm trying to collect those draft picks, especially if I'm in a rebuild mode. So I think that fact that Zach Ertz's career kind of spiked up, which was awesome when he went back to Arizona, or went to Arizona, I think that helps a lot. But with Trey McBride coming in the draft, who I went after him like crazy. I've got so many shares of McBride. I'm still trying to get him in a few of my other leagues. McBride, I think, is going to have such a great future, and he was very talented. He was in an offense that didn't throw the ball very well, but he was getting like 30 to 40% target share. I'm not saying it's going to happen with obviously Arizona. Arizona is a little different offensive scheme, but I love McBride. I love the potential with him. So Zach Ertz's definitely value has gone down some, but I think some people will still go after him, especially in a win now, or again, a premium tight end dynasty. You're definitely going to try to trade for him. So those are my top 5 players that I believe you should be selling after this recent draft. Again, make sure you guys are staying tuned. We're going to drop some more videos. I've got a lot of content coming out now that my voice is back. So I've got some great videos coming up to help you guys with your dynasties. We'll be dropping in, I think, mid to late June. We'll have our dynasty rankings, our redraft rankings, and then all through July and August, we're going to be doing mock drafts for dynasty, and we'll be doing mock drafts for redraft. A lot of redrafts going to be coming up, especially since dynasty is kind of in that middle of rookie drafting and maybe doing some startups. But make sure you guys check out all the videos. If you guys are new to the channel, make sure you hit that subscribe button and that notification bell is on. Also, make sure hit the like button. It is greatly appreciated. If you guys do have questions, always hit us in the comments down below, or you can always hit us on our socials. We've obviously got Twitter and Instagram. You can always follow us there and ask questions. Again, thank you guys so much for watching this video, and I'll check you guys next time.